So it's been a few days since Hurricane Ian tore through central Florida, leaving some cities unrecognizable and many residents without homes. Our guest now, Consul General of Jamaica to the southern USA, Oliver Mayer, who's going to talk to us about some of the damage caused and particularly how members of our diaspora community fared through that hurricane. Oliver, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Morning, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning, Simone. Good morning, Neville. Happy to be on the program.
Happy to see that you're safe. How scary or not was it?
Well, you know, a day before the hurricane hit, Hurricane Ian, we were driving up from the consulate to my home in Davie, and there was heavy rains, and we got the word of a tornado that was within minutes of where we were driving, and so that was particularly frightening. But we got in okay, and the alert lasted for about 35 minutes. But outside of that, folks, the Jamaicans and residents in the South Florida were pretty much okay. And so most of our Jamaicans are domiciled in Broward County, Miami-Dade County, as well as Palm Beach County. And for the most part, we had very little rain, just there's some heavy winds and light showers on the actual day. So what we found is that the cities in the Southwest were impacted primarily.
And which cities were those, Oliver?
All right, so most of our Jamaicans are resident in Tampa and Orlando. Fortunately for us, there was far less impact on these cities. And so, you know, before the hurricane, we had set up groups where we had our Jamaicans acting as eyes and ears on the ground. And so they gave us reports ongoingly. And most of the Jamaicans that we spoke with, the reports we received, I mean, had light flooding, debris built up. Some folks had a little challenge with their roofs. There was one lady who had a tree that fell on her shed in the background, in the back. But primarily, the images that you would have seen, Jamaicans are traditionally not domiciled in these cities such as Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Naples, Sarasota. So while we were watching these images on TV, we were cognizant of our Jamaicans and calling around just to ensure that we didn't have anybody who was adversely affected. Now, power has been down up to, at one point, we had 2.5 million persons out of power. So we can yet still hear Jamaicans who may have been in serious trouble. But at this point, we give God thanks that most Jamaicans came out unscathed.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, God forbid, you haven't heard of any Jamaicans losing their lives, right?
No, not so far, no.
Fantastic.
No.
What obtains right now as we speak? What's going on right now?
Yeah, I mean, right now, it's from the day after the hurricane, it was sunshine. People went back out to work, and pretty normalized situation for Jamaicans. And we were on the phones again, calling our Jamaican groups. In fact, there was one particular situation that somebody from Jamaica called us at the consulate. They were looking for their 95-year-old aunt. And so we were very concerned. And we threw out the word in the various WhatsApp groups. And there was a particular group in Port St. Lucie led by Dawn Bloomfield. And she was able to alert one of her members, knew the old lady, and drove to the house. And Aunt Daphne was well, fine.
Daphne.
Yeah, I don't know how many of these kinds of things you've been through, but how bad was this one from what you've seen and from what you've heard?
Oh, definitely bad. And it would have this would have been one of the worst. I was here for Hurricane Andrew in '92, which had a major impact on our people here because Jamaicans moved from the south to the north as a result of Hurricane Andrew in 1992. So, I mean, Hurricane Ian, definitely one of the worst, but our Jamaicans were not as impacted by the images that you're seeing. And that's been our account so far. We continue to pray that that's the situation. As more persons get power, we may hear of Jamaicans who were adversely impacted in these particular cities.
We want to know about like the state of readiness and preparation, Oliver, because obviously we're coming from a country where we know what hurricanes do, right?
Right.
It's been a part of our experience. So before, did you find that we were taking it seriously? I mean, in those chat groups that you have, which are obviously a blessing,
Yes.
did you find that folks were stocking up on the water? Were we a part of the folks who were going to get our sandbags and ready
Yes.
up just in case?
You know, one of the blessings here in Florida, and especially South Florida, we have 19 Jamaicans who are elected officials. So the advisories come up, they keep coming out on a constant basis, especially to folks in the community. And, you know, for example, in Miramar, they were giving away sandbags. So many of us were able to venture there and get sandbags and have them available in the house. And so I would say that in terms of taking the necessary steps, I think Jamaica definitely concurred. I mean, you always have those who said, nah, man, storm now come, man. Well, watch things, you know. You'll always have that. But I think by and large, in South Florida, there's access to the resources and there's access to support, and the messaging is certainly out there. And many persons, you know, heeded the warning, took the necessary steps. And I mean, we, as I told you, sandbags ran out quickly, and we appreciate the work of the commissioners and the mayors in the relevant cities. And the governor himself was pretty active in terms of communicating to the state. And so persons were taking their individual steps, and they were making themselves visible to ensure that their residents know that they're out there working and making the necessary preparations. I mean, certainly from us at the consulate, I mean, we ensure that we had our messaging out. I did a video out to the community just to reinforce the importance of being prepared. And one of the things we look out for is perhaps the more vulnerable groups like the elderly and the, you know, our students. Look out for our farm workers. In fact, I had a meeting with them just last week. It was via Zoom, courtesy of Grace Kennedy, who went to Italy.
Yes, that's Hazel and her people.
Yeah. Earlier we saw images of Fort Myers, and Senator Rubio said Fort Myers Beach no longer exists. Is it that bad? Really?
Yeah, it's really bad out there. Really bad out there. We had a couple of folks that living there in Fort Myers that we reached out to, and happily they are okay. So, I mean, you have these areas where you have the mass destruction and the heavy flooding, but there are other areas where there was no impact, you know.
Yeah.
Not trying to downplay the situation, but sometimes all the images that we see are just disaster and destruction.
Yes.
But throughout the whole time, I kept getting calls and people were asking me, what's happening? Are you okay? Are you alive? What's the family? And I'm saying, I'm fine. I mean, I went outside. In fact, when I did my video to advise the public, I was trying to even get a moment when there was a little rain falling, and for me, there was none. There was a little wind. You know, I tried to bring a little reality to my video. So again, there were particular cities that were impacted more than others, more than the majority.
Very, very, very happy that you and your family are safe. Great to have you with us this morning. I'm still a little bit disappointed that you laughed at me before you came on, but I just still laugh at that. Good to see you, my friend. Blessings to you.
You
and
know,
your family.
I just want to say, in closing, just want to say as well that we're certainly not out of the woods.
Yeah.
We already have more systems coming into facility, and we have to be prepared, continue to be vigilant. We'll continue to watch. We're already in discussions with many of the agencies that help to support us in the event we have a catastrophe, and not just for the region, but for our homeland, Jamaica. So we're always mindful of that and in a state of readiness.
Stay safe, sir. God bless you.
Thank you, Oliver.
right.
And morning to all the diasporans who watch the show, because we know you're tuned in. We appreciate you very, very much.
Oliver Mayer, Consul General of Jamaica to the southern United States. After the break, what one organization is doing to grow the blue economy and help save the environment. All right, soon come.